All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this expert panel that will focus on technologies that have emerged on the battlefields of Ukraine. We're honored to have a panel of experts who have practical experience in the deployment and the development and employment of these technologies. I think we're all aware of the proliferation of unmanned systems in the air, ground, and maritime domains, as well as the use of the electromagnetic spectrum in operating and countering these systems. So our experts will address the evolution of Ukraine's development and use of these capabilities and their impact on the character of warfare today. Let me introduce our panel, and after my introductions of them, each will give a presentation, and after the final presentation, we'll have time for a few questions. First, Vadim Sugarevsky is a colonel in the Armed Forces of Ukraine. He served in combat in Iraq in 2004 and has also served in Ukraine's air assault forces. He commanded the 503rd Marine Battalion from 2016 to 2021, served as the Chief of Staff of 35th Marine Brigade, and commanded the 59th Motorized Infantry Brigade from 2022 to 2024. In 2022, he was awarded Hero of Ukraine, based on his superior service over several years in combat, beginning with his leadership as a commander in the airborne forces and defending against Russian proxy forces in 2014. So do the math. This soldier has been fighting for 12 years. He has served longer than that, over 12 years if you count his service in Iraq alongside U.S. forces. In 2024, he was appointed as the first commander of the newly formed Unmanned Systems Forces and designated Deputy Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces in Ukraine. He was an early advocate of unmanned systems and was instrumental in establishing the Unmanned Systems Force and integrating it into Ukraine's force structure. And his innovative mindset led to unmanned systems' rapid growth and adaptation. Our next panelist is Andrei Rozhenko, and I won't go into his detailed resume since you just heard his introduction in the previous panel. Andrei has the honor of contributing to all of our panels at this symposium. But esteemed naval officer, I got to know Andrei almost 10 years ago when I served as an advisor in Ukraine, and he was doing amazing things then, long before then, and he continues to contribute to Ukraine's defense and its aspirations toward NATO membership. So it's been an honor to know him all this time. Next is our final member is Ole Trofimuk. He's the head of research and development for a leading military technology company, where he directs the engineering of advanced unmanned systems and electronic warfare solutions. He's a specialist in applied physics and holds a degree in nuclear physics from Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv. And during his academic career, he completed research internships at Jagiellonsky University in Poland and the Linear Accelerator Laboratory in France. From 2019 to 2022, he specialized in civil and dual-use sensor technologies, and his work during this period focused on the design and application of ground-penetrating radar systems, mine detection technologies, and microwave radar systems for traffic monitoring and surveillance. Since 2022, he has pivoted his professional focus to the defense sector, leading the transition toward military-grade research and development. And in his current capacity, he oversees the development of a broad portfolio of mission-critical technologies, including drone technology, unmanned ground vehicles, and high-performing Internet Protocol radio systems. His expertise also extends to electronic warfare, where he manages projects in both jamming and radio reconnaissance. He currently directs the full R&D lifecycle, focusing on the rapid development and deployment of tactical systems on the battlefield. So that's our panel. We will take presentations in order, beginning with Colonel Sugarevsky. Vadim?
Good morning, everybody. Yeah. First of all, I apologize for my English. I don't have practice. Yeah, so if not clear something, please stop me and ask. Okay? Okay. Today I will try to retell you about IMET system, about our battle experience, about unmanned systems forces of Ukraine. Yeah, it's first on the world forces inside military forces, so country in country. Yeah, it's big process. It's big troubles, and it's big win for all of us. So after a few moments, I show you short movies. We prepared for our President Zelensky on the military cabinet when we began to provide new tactics, when we began build unmanned system. There are Ukrainian titles, but if you will be interested, it's steps how we make battlefield and what we decide to do step by step. Yeah, I try to comment it, but after you will see video, please. Preparing for battle. Communication organized. Recognized. Built of the different staff. Beginning place. And mining place for assault groups. Fire support. Mining logistic roads for enemy territory. Assault. Fire support again. Landing robotic systems and their assault. Assault group. We're preparing enemy position. Kill all Russian. And go to his position. Preparing to defend new position. Mining logistic road and potential road for enemy assault. Robotic surprise in different ways. Kill enemy who try to come back to their position. Armed forces of Ukraine this time. Okay. I convinced that such technologies, such new tactics, it's a future for all battlefield in the future world. Unmanned systems change all world. This world, the old war and old tactics are changed. This world never be such how it was for our war. And it's a game changer. It's changed all what we have and what we study in our universities, academies, military, how we must fighting with the enemy, how we must defend our country. It's awesome. It's always change for these years. So, I try to retell you about unmanned system and about unmanned systems forces of Ukraine. Next generation weapon systems is a new battle space for asymmetric conflicts. You know map, yeah? You know what size Russia Federation and what size Ukraine, and how we fight with such big structure, with this monster, yeah, all these years. So, due to terms, one moment. I open on my telephone. Yeah. Due to this difference in military potentials, such as mobilization resource level of economic and production capacities, we are not able to wage a symmetric war. It's clear. The parties of conducting combat operation during a full-scale invasion has shown that the partners cannot provide the necessary amounts of weapons to wage a symmetrical war. Yeah. What we built? We have 3 main domains and we have 3 main deep for our work in unmanned systems. Strategic, yeah, there are work, separate brigade, regiment, and all unmanned system forces of Ukraine. Yeah. Operational, it's brigades, regiment, separate escadrons and battalions. It's specific battalions from unmanned system, and now we have in all our brigade, infantry brigade, airborne brigade, marines brigade, naval brigade, we have always unmanned system battalion. And tactical level, it's battalions, separate companies, platoons, different tactical groups who used different systems and unmanned system especially. You can see it deep. It's probably deep. For example, now my guys used FPV more than 50 kilometers in deep. It's operative level. But when infantry fighting with the enemy on the front line, first 5 kilometers, it's the main. Yeah, it's the main task for save life our soldier. That's why we used unmanned system. Tactical level. Enemy has a large number of armored material and outlesses us in personnel and artillery. We are compensating the advantage with the help of UAVs, Mavic types, FPVs, and bombers, particularly in tailoring intelligence, adjustment of artillery fire, and remote engagement. We also use UAV to provide logistic, remote mining and explosion, and as a casualty evacuation platform. It's a landing robotic system. Operative level. On the operational level, armed forces of Ukraine are striking enemy personnel, concentration points, training facilities, and logistic centers. The more strikes are launched of this level, the weaker the tactical level. We call this middle strike. ICR operation allows us to tailor intelligence, establish surveillance, and facilitate enemy detection. You can read that experience gained in Kursk operation has convinced that effectiveness of unmanned system working in a close vicinity with high precision artillery. Such operation facilitate prevention of enemy concentration on critical lines. Strategic level. Strategic installation, oil, refinery stations, and other linked to military industrial sectors that are located on the deeps up to 1,700 kilometers on the territory of Russia. Those unmanned systems are applied at all levels. Effectiveness of actions taken on strategic level cues depletion of enemy operational abilities, replenishment of warehouse and arsenals, and other. I don't show you any video. It's very cool, and there are a lot on the internet. And if you want, you can see how we work on deep strike, on middle strike, how we destroy ships, oil manufacturers, and logistics. It's economical effect first of all. Yeah? It's asymmetric step from Ukraine to Russia without love. Unmanned system forces as a game changer. Yeah. In this picture is structure of armed forces of Ukraine. And why armed forces of Ukraine is revolution in military system. Yeah? Because it's very hard to do something new in old system. Army is old system. Here in army we use old system very well, but we don't want something new. Yeah? It's historical, it's typical situation for all army on the world. That's why it's hard process. Yeah, and you see Navy, Air, South, Special Operation Forces. And now we have new forces, it's unmanned system. Who we are? The unmanned system for the armed forces of Ukraine is a newly created branch of the armed forces of Ukraine that uses air, sea, surface, and underwater ground unmanned and robotic system in its combat operation at the tactical, operational, and strategic level. Unique Wallace. Establishment of strategic component, asymmetric action, and preventive and initiative approach during operation. Vision. Bilateral support for the jointly selected solution. Joint in tours of R&D stage. It's a very important question. Mass of shelf supply of decided solution. Expertise. Expertise is maybe main question for country working. It's main question for president, it's main question for financial department, for general staff of Ministry of Defense. Because when we have actually information about what effective, what we need on the front line, how many we need, different drones, different bullets or bombs, it's big mathematics, it's big process. It must be working 24 hours on a day. Advantages. Excuse me. You can read on this slide. For information, Russia study quickly, and they have good experience and a good systematic process on the army. But we have few elements where we win, and it's our tactical and strategic plus. Yeah, it's first of all it's bombers. Yeah, it's different bombs what we used. We used a lot of types of these bombs, and we made it on the front line and on the Kiev too. Yeah, all country working on this war. Yeah, and we have good R&D. Yeah, because we're working with our partners, United States, it's sent for that. We're working with all world for made better systems, better drones, better jamming, better intelligence, yeah, and other elements. And unmanned system forces is all in one forces. It's intelligence, it's battle component, it's mind. Here is how it works: full command and who have order for different deep. You can see it's general staff and deep strike. Operational group and operational strategic group, it's middle strike and tactical level, sometimes on different ways. Yeah, brigade, battalion, company, platoon, it's tactical level and it's employment from operational group to brigade and separate battalion who may task on the front line. We also have objectives. Managing, logistic, developing, monitoring the readiness of units. Unmanned system is the main component who must working with civilian developers, with military developers, with civilian university institutes, with young men, with civilian. We must do better our recruiting. For example, for last year, recruits who going to unmanned system is probably from 22 to 34 years people old, and more of them have 1 or 2 high level education. It's a good potential and it's a good mining for our forces because it's technological forces of future. Capabilities of units. Here we see ability to conduct, recognize, strike enemies' targets, ability to destroy enemies, UAVs. It's one of the main tasks for all of us. It's find and kill enemy's pilots and destroy the complex. Ability to conduct logistic support of infantry units, ability to retransmit signals. It's a very hard process because radio space is дуже забруднений. Very pollutive. It's a big challenge for our technological on the front line. You must understand that if we have front line for one brigade, for example, 10 kilometers, yeah, and every minute there we used more than 10 different complex of jamming and 100 different unmanned systems. Landing, Mavics, FPVs, I-star drones, it's artillery, yeah, it's radio station where soldiers working, with the officer working, with staff working, yeah, it's this space. It's just crazy to find something clear for channel, working channel. This moment. a statistic. The statistic is ending of last year and beginning of this year about deep strike operation, and here is a middle strike operation. You can see that effective targeting is 43%. Yeah, it's challenge for us. It's information about analysis for our country, for military, how we must stay better, how we must work effective in these elements. Bombers. Special battalion who used drones with Starlink. And this drone going more than 45 kilometers from enemy territory and drop bombs. This economic effect, this battle effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Vadim. Well, we'll have questions at the end, yeah. So hold all the questions, we'll have time. Okay, next will be Andrei Rozhenko.
Yeah, good afternoon again. I'm a little bit speed up my presentation. I originally was to tell you about story. Before this full-scale invasion, we were very limitedly using drones. Even this idea was created maybe 15 years ago. But because of traditional vision on way how war should be conducted, actually, we understood how effective it just probably since 2022. And from 2022, this idea became skyrocketed. Yeah, and we start to develop first air drones. After a little later, we start to develop ground drones, because now it's only way to evacuate injured people and provide logistic to units in the front line. There is no possibility to use ambulance or whatever. This stuff actually works. Yeah, what Vadim already mentioned about task, but I would like to say that we have a doctrine for unmanned system. It was adopted recently. It's already 3 times we edited, and here it's stated that we have unmanned system forces and that do mostly operational and strategic level within all of the services of armed forces of Ukraine. Also exist in the units which is completely or partially represented by unmanned system. It's very important. They used very, very intensively and primarily, and now most of Russian casualties caused by this unmanned system. What is important, actually, to synchronization actually exists, but it's still room for improvement regarding integration, convergence, and jointness. Because here sometimes it's different services, different branches, they are actually providing the operational difficulties, conflict to each other, and it's important to solve this issue. Also important, this is an important aspect. A year ago, we developed these drone interceptors, and we use them very widely for the air defense. And you know, because Russians use up to 900 Shaheds now per one night, and it's expensive to use classical surface-to-air missiles. And now we're using these drones. They are 4 kilograms, 10 pounds, and they can fly on an altitude 5 kilometers to 20 kilometers range, and they can destroy these drones, even aviation, enemy aviation. They're very effective. First flight was March last year, and we're already using thousands of them. Yeah, and they're integrated in Ukrainian air defense system and everything. Actually, we have a fuse center which see all picture about what is going on in Ukrainian air defense. And this is, I would say, this is very positive. We never had it even 4 years ago. Here it's a statistic about, fresh statistic about use of these drone interceptors. You see We have, from beginning of year, it's already more than 8,000 enemy targets destroyed. Mostly it's a Stinger Ukrainian drone. It's a US Merops, very, very high quality drone. Also we have a P1 Sun and some others. And this is targets which actually destroyed by this interceptor. I start my service from a ship, it's called Kara class cruiser, it's like Ticonderoga. And I was shooting missiles similar to what is on the back of you. It's 1.8 tons. It's a huge missile. But their capability is similar what this tiny little guy is doing now. It's 4 kilo only. And obviously it's 1,000 times cheaper. You see, technology allowed to make this so big jump. Yeah, here I would like to show you, we built up a training system for the armed forces of Ukraine, and we're teaching drone operators for the unmanned service and for all of the services, and we can teach up to 50,000 people per year. If it's a lot or not, but many NATO nations in Europe, they have much, much less armed forces, complete armed forces, and we can teach only drone operators. And this is a statistic how much we trained last year. In orange, you see this on the top it's air drone, and on the ground, on the bottom, this is ground drone. In orange, this is what military did, and in the yellow, in the green, what is our industry did. You see, here a very interesting picture. Last week, it was the first case when from a maritime drone called Magura, close to Odessa, was launched drone interceptor, and it shut down a Russian Shahed on approaching to Odessa, and this Shahed fall down at sea. And it's very important because Shahed by itself is a huge engineering construction, it's a quarter of ton. Even we shut it down and fall down on a building, it's significant damage. And this is also really important for us to develop such capabilities. I would like to mention slightly, very shortly, about maritime aspect. This is what's going on now at sea over Ukraine. And you see Ukraine using maritime drones, cruise missiles, blocked Russian fleet in Sevastopol and Novorossiysk, and we continue striking. They cannot operate their fleet almost at all. In beginning of war, they send around 50 vessels daily and ships to operate against us. Now they send in for a very short period of time, very few of them from Novorossiysk. And we're also using drones against Russian critical infrastructure, what Vadim actually mentioned as well. Here you see, if it will be ceasefire, what situation will be in future for Ukraine. And I don't know what will be scenario, but we now lost 82% of our coastline, and enemy very close to our seaports. And in this situation, we can afford ourselves for sea control and sea denial on the small unmanned and manned platform, no greater than 40 meters. Because from Odessa to Sevastopol, only 150 nautical miles. And you can see now with modern technologies, very clear all of the targets. And the Russians doing the same. This is, in order to survive, you need to be small, agile, maneuverable, and actually not detectable by enemy. We can forget about big ships actually, greater than 60 meters, because it will be destroyed. And we are, sorry to say, now care about our littoral waters not going far away. And this triangle, it's a shallow area, less than 200 meters, like Strait of Hormuz now. Instead of using classical mine countermeasures, which is a 60 meter and 30 people, we can use automated boats, which are capable to do everything the same, using sonars, even destroy mines without people 24/7. And they cost probably 5–10% of cost of minesweeper, and you're not losing people. Yeah, the same actually U.S. Navy and coalition and potentially can do in Strait of Hormuz, because geography of Strait of Hormuz very, very clear. U.S. currently have a classic fleet, and it was successful in first stage of the war. But now with a blockade, actually they are, sorry to say, useless. You need something what we're using. Also, what Ukrainian experience can be useful using drone interceptors against air drones, because it's also threat in Strait of Hormuz. And also what is can be used, it's a Ukrainian experience to counteract into the maritime drones. We have these guys, we train them in fact. We trained them in February during 2 weeks course, and currently they contradict into Russian Rubicon unit. Maybe some of you heard about this. They have a maritime detachment, and we are intercepting them, dealing them, and destroying their infrastructure using their drones. We have a little bit different. And this is actually concluding my presentation about this. We'll be happy to later on to answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And our final presenter will be Oleg.
So today I will not talk any about Shahid drones. I want to focus my speech on way smaller arms, but in many ways way more dangerous on the front line. It's FPV drones. They're cheap, they're small, hard to detect, easy to maintain, to build, and to learn how they work. You Google some information, buy some parts, and you have a FPV drone on hands. And I am not encouraging you to buy it. Okay, good. Presentation. So, why FPV drones is so dangerous? They're easy to deploy. You don't need any special equipment. They're really small, so one person can bring it to any place, put there, plug the battery, and it can go. Second, it could fly on very long distances. Typical range of operation for the small FPV drone is from 10 to 15 kilometers. When you put retranslation drone near, you extend this range up to 40 kilometers. When you put Starlink on it, possibly range is infinite. You just depend on the battery. Also, small cross-section make it hard to detect for the classical radar system, and cost effectiveness make it quantity over quality supreme approach. So existing defense are not designed to countermeasure FPV drones because of small cross-section. It not always can lock it, and even if it can lock and destroy it, cost to fire way more exceed the cost of FPV drone itself. So, about quantities of the FPV drones, last year Ukraine side used more than 3 million FPV drones on the front line, and it's not including Russian side. Every day more common become drone carriers, as you see on the slide. They bring FPV way farther than FPV can fly themselves, and they make sure that FPV keep the battery alive for longer time to find more targets and be more dangerous than before. Also worth mentioning that to learn operate FPV, you don't really need a lot of time and a lot of cost. You need the laptop, probably controller. These pilots going to frontline, they trying to learn on the real cases, and after a few months they become really dangerous enemy. So all over the globe right now appearing FPV drones. In the Europe, for example, the appearing of FPV drones stop operating a few airports and make threat for the aircrafts on the landing pads. What already done a lot of damage, like a cost damage, without even any explosive, just by appearance. Also, I want to mention Ukrainian Operation Spiderweb. It's operation where was deployed more than 100 small FPV drones in a few Russian regions. And with synchronous attack, they attack airfields, and with a really moderated cost, we destroyed more than 40 Russian aircrafts on the cost more than $2 billion. And recent actions in the Iran bring the danger from the Iran using the FPV drones. So there are a few FPV drones already hit American bases in Iraq. So this is really a dangerous thing that we need to mitigate. So what we can do with this? We have a lot of systems right now working on the front line actively and helping to mitigate FPV drone threat. I will start from the radio reconnaissance because more you know about enemy, more you can do with this. Yesterday, those who was on the dinner see a little glance how does it work on sample of 2 systems. Right now we have more than 1,000 systems on the front line, what actively finding enemy FPV drones channels. It's see the spectrum, you know the frequency, you know the video from this FPV, so you see the same enemy pilot see, and you can record it, analyze it, and also when you see the video, you can compare it with the real satellite maps, and when you compare it, you press the button, mark appear, and you can reconstruct, trace how FPV drones fly, and you possibly could find the enemy deployment point and destroy it in future. So when you know the enemy frequency, you would like to jam it to mitigate FPV not only by covering yourself, but by countermeasure it actively. So here is on the slide, you see the 3 systems. It's electronic warfare systems used right now on the front line. First one is a ground system with directional antennas. Second one is drone deployed system. And third one is mobile system for protection of vehicles. All day for a little bit different purposes. You need line of sight to countermeasure drones. So when enemy use ray translator system, we use ground system, we go to jamming kit. When enemy use ground-based system, we can use drone system to mitigate it. And when you going on vehicle in any direction and you don't know where is enemy, you can just use omnidirectional antenna. Also, in complex with this, we have a line of FPV drones for different purposes. The most fascinating drone is Drone Hunter. It's a 13-inch drone with a double-barrel shotgun, 10 gauge, to shot enemy drones. So when you detect it, you lift your drone, it's hunt enemy threat, and it's shot it. Second, but not at least, it's infrastructural FPV. Big, 22 inches in diameter, but it's used for really different purposes. You can carry drones with this. You see on the picture you have 2 drones attached below. So this is, as I told, a drone carrier in this case. On top you have antennas. This is jamming system. And in the same way we can put any radio communication link on these drones to extend range of our FPV drones. So, rapid evolution creates vulnerability in existing defense system. Current defense systems are overwhelmed by scale, agility, and cost effectiveness of small and simple FPV drones. We are trying to eliminate gap and provide both soft kill and hard kill system what used in the front line for every day in Ukraine. Success depends on rapid development and integration in multi-layer system, because you not really have any all-round solution. You always need a complex connection between different systems for different types of threats. And I wanna make a point that it's not about specific system I showed, it's more about idea that you need to be prepared to work with small cost enemy FPV drones, trying to not spend a lot of money on this, and you always need to be ahead of enemy, and because system on the front line evolving really fast. Thank you for your attention. I will gladly answer the questions.
Well, I want to thank you all for those fabulous presentations. Okay, we've got time for some questions. I would ask if you have a question, please come to the mic here in the center aisle and we will open it up. Sir.
Oleg, a question to you. Is it possible that jamming technology is going to negate everybody's drone system?
It depends. There is a different type of drones on the front line. I focused on the FPV drones. They use analog channel of communication. But there is like a standard drones, the commercial one, Mavic drones. They use a little bit different technology. In many ways, it's way more simple to jam because it uses standard frequency. FPV drone use non-standard frequency. And the first point, you need to know them. That's why we at first point use radio reconnaissance and then jam. But basically, everything flying in the sky and has some radio link could be jammed. It depends just on the amplifiers you have to jam on proper frequencies.
Okay, next. Sir.
Just comment on that. Won't this lead to autonomous drones to get beyond the jamming?
Okay, it's a very good question. It will not help. There is two types of drone autonomous, as you told, and optical fiber drones. They not emitting something in the sky, so you cannot detect them by classical methods, but you can see them. And that's why I mentioned drone killer, drone hunter, because when you have drone you cannot jam, you need to use different technology. And that's what I meant about complex technology.
I do have another question. It seems at least the way it's used right now, your drone warfare is mostly good for defense. Can this be adapted for offense?
It is. it is very effective in offense as well. So we have carrier drones, what can fly very long away. We have radio communication links, and drone could operate at 100 kilometers in the Russian territory and strike very precisely enemy targets.
We currently keep Russian fleet blocked in Novorossiysk just because potentially we have maritime drones, and this is deterring them. And I'm originally from Sevastopol. I may say you, I live all of the from 1968 there, and they never had the same defensive system like now they have. And Russian fleet blocked in both main bases, Sevastopol and Novorossiysk, only by fact that Ukraine have maritime drones and air drones. And this is show, and it's called a sea denial operation. It's purely offensive.
But what about retaking territory, dealing with the mines, people in hardened positions? Can this be adapted?
I show you a slide where I wrote that Kursk operation is very good experience for us in offensive operation, where all our system built on mobile station, on vehicles, when we used an anti-mining land robotic system, when we mining on land from air and other. When 24 hours we have reconnaissance for plane, and we used mother drones, what show left, and other elements. When they working together with all systems, with artillery, with infantry, with logistics, with medical support, it's very important, with engineering. Yeah, it's all this process. We have good experience in Kursk, here, near Kherson, in Kharkiv. Now, when we come back our position, we use such tactic how I show you on the video. It's assault brigade. That video is tactic, it's strategy of assault arming system brigade, and we have it inside arming system forces.
Okay.
I can add a little bit. There were 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was the first in history situation when combined air drones and ground drones capture enemy position. All by themselves, without the soldiers.
But if conceptually we speak about retaking territories, a drone, I would say will play a rather supporting effort function, not main effort. Main effort will go to the shoulder of the infantry. Anyway, in order to liberate your territory, you need people. And this is clear for now as well. But drones can save a lot of lives.
All right, another question, sir. Can I move to the mic, please?
You have mentioned that these drones are cheap, easy to build, which tells me that the Russian can build them too. And I'm wondering, where is the edge of Ukraine to mitigate this situation and provide an answer?
That actually the point. Both Russia and Ukraine build very cheap drones. It could cost from $200 to $500, and it could strike the tank, the bigger system, some anti-aerial system, and so on. So mitigation is about know where it fly, how it fly, because the point is because of system is cheap, it's not encrypted, and when it's not encrypted, you see free the same enemies. And when you see the same enemies, you know where is the drone. You can protect yourself, you can hide. You know frequency of the drone, you can emit a signal on this frequency, and enemy pilot will lose sight, so he will be blind. And when blind drone flying over, he cannot strike. And after 20-40 seconds, pilot eventually will lose control over the drone.
Speak about operational strategic level of using of drones. It's important that we have advantage of the Starlink, because Russians don't have it. Russians currently try to build its own system. It's called Rassvet, Sunrise, but it's a quite long way for them to develop it. And this is actually really our advantage over the Russians. Maybe you remember when Russians conducted attack and destroy Ukrainian intelligence vessel in the river of Danube. And I was tracking some of their traffic, and they were really actually impressed how it's happened, because of they don't know how they're using retranslators, but they cannot reach so long range and this is really our advantage. This is Starlink system.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Sir, in the back there, can you come to the mic?
General Deputa talked about U.S. lessons learned from the war in Ukraine. Yet, currently we're talking about spending $1.5 trillion in the next budget for U.S. military. A lot of that is going to go to replenishing Patriot missiles, THAAD missiles, Tomahawk missiles, really older generation of warfighting equipment. Based on your experience, do you guys think we're wasting a lot of money on that?
Good question. A lot of people stuff.
Understand the question. Understand the question.
You know, it depends on what level of your ambitions, actually. Yeah, because obviously Tomahawk, it's probably the best cruise missile in the world and very sophisticated. But only one nation can operate it, United States. It was exported I believe, in one nation, in UK, and I'm not sure how fully they can operate, I would say. And but for certain tasks, it's really a very perfect weapon. And very few nations can develop. It costs money. The same Patriot. I'm an air defense guy. I was launching missiles a little bit better than what is behind of you in my childhood. But in this period of time, I couldn't imagine that a surface-to-air missile can fly 1,000 kilometers and go to the space. Obviously, this cost money, and it depends what is nation ambition and what is your neighbors. Unfortunately, Ukraine has a not good neighbor from north and from the east, and we need to invest, and we need to invest money, and we really appreciate help of our friends and partners. But defense costs money again.
It's more not about technology itself, it's about cost-efficient using. So when you have a rocket for the $1 million and you trying to strike Shahid for the $100,000, it's not really good usage. But in Ukraine, for Shahids we have separate technology, and batteries we use against their ballistic missiles that we cannot destroy in any other way. So it's about cost efficiency always.
Okay. Okay, quickly.
Short message. I show you system. I tell you about unmanned system. Yeah, I tell you about analytic. Yeah, and we have strategy about effective for $1, 1 kilo Russia. Yeah, will destroy some techniques. We must understand how cost is it. You know, yes, that's why, for example, we developed interceptors, for example, anti-Shahids, is no expensive than $10,000. It must be cheaper, because after 10,000 price, yeah, it's not effective. Yeah, because 1 or 2 interceptor for 1 Shahid, we don't have economic effect. That's why we think about it in all process.
Okay, we're gonna have to end it there. How about a round of applause for And they will be here for the rest of today. We will do this panel again tomorrow, so there's plenty of time if you want to follow up with questions. So thanks for your attention. Take about 5 minutes again, recock here, and get ready for our final event of the day.